What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Bruno Mars' fourth album, The Romantic. This is Bruno's first album, solo album anyway, since 24 Karat Magic came out way back in 2016, 10 years ago. Of course, since then, he gave us the Silk Sonic collab album with Anderson .Paak, but even that was in 2021, coming up on 5 years ago. Despite the wait for a new formal project from Bruno, he has certainly been around, and he is just an established megalith, absolute superstar artist. He's currently the #1 artist on Spotify in terms of monthly listeners. Frankly, the strength of his catalog and how dominant he is on streaming really can't be overstated. His recent single with Lady Gaga, Die With a Smile, over 3.5 billion streams on Spotify. He also has 4 other songs on Spotify with 3 billion streams as well, to say nothing of Apate with Rose from the past year and change, over 2 billion as well. The lead single from this new album, I Just Might, became Bruno's 10th #1 song. After a 10-year wait for a new solo album, Bruno Mars' The Romantic is a massive disappointment. For someone so successful and so dominant in their career to deliver a project that's incredibly safe and vanilla and takes absolutely zero risks is just a huge letdown. I fear that Bruno Mars has taken the wrong lessons from the success of Die With a Smile with Lady Gaga. There's just no bite or punch to this record. The lyrics are largely in one ear and out the other. Bruno Mars' singing and the rasp of his voice is still as strong as ever, but there's just nothing compelling about this music. It's a far cry from the energy of Apate with Rose, or even his hook on Sexy Red's Fat, Juicy, and Wet. At least those songs make you feel something from Bruno. And because this album and these songs were going to be successful no matter what, he is truly that established and ingrained. It would have been nice if he had more ambition to deliver something at least a little bit interesting. I really can't remember the last time I was this let down by a major pop force. And if I compare him to someone who also is very dominant and established in streaming, such as, say, The Weeknd. The Weeknd, of course, has previously had that monthly listeners #1 spot that Bruno currently holds. Yes, The Weeknd is not the top of those charts because of House of Balloons. It's for his more recent stuff, more radio-friendly stuff. But there's a lot more bite and a lot more risk on anything The Weeknd does compared to this from Bruno. You think about the appeal and like the meme with Bruno Mars at this point, right? Where he's just like the wedding reception, like Don at this point. Songs like Uptown Funk and 24 Karat Magic, the single, songs that are just effortlessly played on and make everybody move. And these songs feel like karaoke versions of that, but none of them are as danceable as the big hits he's made. I just don't really understand like the goal of this record at all. You go through the songs here, you have A Risk It All. I mean, I really like the triumphant brass throughout this. There's almost like a mariachi vibe at times. I think it's more of just a general like Latin dance flair. I don't think it's specifically mariachi. But the slow acoustic aside, like there's just not much to that song. And like, I like Bruno singing sometimes. He can give you a flourish here and there, but it's just not that engaging. The next song, Cha Cha, though, I mean, this is elevator music. I appreciate the horns. I think instrumental-wise, most of the album sounds quite nice, but the vocal performance is monotonous. And it leads you to the lead single, I Just Might, which became Bruno's 10th #1. It's become a solid hit already. It's doing numbers. I think it's a fine song, but it's like just a, quote, Bruno Mars song. It's just like a classic, like, B- Bruno track at best. There's nothing extra really to it. I like the energy level, even if it's pretty even keel Bruno. God Was Showing Off, I think that one is fine. Why You Want to Fight, I think this one's at least a little bit more engaging just because of, I think, Bruno's back and forth as he rides the beat. I think that one a little bit more inspired at the very least. Something Serious, lighter kind of acoustic jamming on that one, island vibe. I like the voice going up and down, and he gets a little bit more raspier with that second verse. Really the full Bruno Mars vocal talent on display. This is definitely a highlight from the album for sure. Following that up with On My Soul, which I also really like. Guitar jam right away. That quick drum tempo really grabs you. I think this is clearly the best song on The Romantic because it has a great chorus, and Bruno's vocals are actually powerful and there. And I think the back and forth of the vocals really sound quite nice. In the last 2 songs, Nothing Left and Dance With Me, again, are really unforgettable. The lack of vision is just really striking with this album. Again, 10 years since the last album. 24 Karat Magic sounds like a distant memory when you listen to that compared to this. And Silk Sonic, I think the Silk Sonic stuff was great. I really enjoyed the Silk Sonic stuff. I think the biggest songs on that, like Skate, Leave the Door Open, of course, right? I think that was a really good pairing with Anderson .Paak. I think Bruno himself brought a lot to that album. And that wasn't that long ago. That came out, what, middle 2021? Like, it hasn't been that long. And again, he's been around, right? Like, the energy level of Fat, Juicy, and Wet, the Sexy Red track, and just how vulgar and how fun and light something like that is from him, right? Again, to say nothing of what he did with Apathy, with Rose, where I think he obviously helped propel that song to its massive success, but also really fit into a really cool idea and like really worked on that song, and it sounds awesome. It's just so lackluster. And I really think Die With A Smile is the problem here. Die With A Smile is almost like an unknowable mega hit. Like, it makes very little sense to me why that song of all songs has gotten so big. Like, obviously it's Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars together, two massive A++ listers with huge fan bases around the world. I understand why it performed well, but that is a song that's vanilla and blasé, right? And Lady Gaga doing it at the Super Bowl in like a Latin inspo was whatever, right? It was a bit contrived to me in terms of being on a Bad Bunny set, but as a song, it's just so uninteresting compared to Gaga's best, Bruno's best, right? Gaga's recent stuff, Bruno's recent stuff. And I think Bruno and his team at Atlantic, they're like, oh, look at that. Look at that song doing over 3 billion streams. We crapped that out in an afternoon. I know they didn't actually. I know plenty of people worked hard on that song, but that's what it sounds like to me because it's just so simple, you know? So I haven't come out this negative on something I was anticipating in a long time. And again, I find it disappointing. I think this is really important. It's disappointing because Bruno Mars' success was baked in, right? This album was going to perform. He doesn't need this album to be safe, to get his numbers, to get his money. But the fact that he chose to play it so safe is what's so disappointing. So I am incredibly let down by this album, obviously. If you like Bruno Mars' fourth solo album, The Romantic, please let me know why. Leave a comment. If you agree, leave a comment, let me know. And for more music reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.